Ladies and gentlemen, KocoSports.com proudly presents the Boom Boom Room, and of course, I am the sexiest man on all of Internet Wrestling Radio. That's right, Boom Boom here, Sugar Room, live from the RBA, Richmond, Virginia. Well, kids, I hope each and every one of you had a very wonderful Christmas holiday. I hope you got what you wanted, and if you didn't, I hope you took it back, got yourself something else that you really wanted, something really nice, because you deserve it. Just decided to do this show really just for the hell of it. With the holidays being here, it's kind of flipped my work schedule upside down. I'm trying to stay awake right now because it's really going to mess with my sleeping and everything going into the new week. So I figured what better way than just do a little show here. So I'm just going to talk some wrestling news, some wrestling rumors, and of course this show will also double as a Stump the Idiot. So if you've got any questions, I believe I've got the chat feature working. So if by some chance you got any questions, anything you want to ask me, feel free to do so. And of course, you can always check us out at prowrestling.me. We got a lot of news and rumors and updates over there. Also, be sure to check out KocoSports.com. And I guess with that being said, now that we got the formalities out of the way, woo, bam. So anyway, since we got everything out of the way, let's go ahead and talk some news and rumors here. And I'm doing this in no particular order, so kids, do not look any deeper into this than what you see it as. First one here coming up here is that it appears Chris Jericho will not be a part of WrestleMania 32 when it comes to Dallas, Texas this spring. Basically, he got asked a Q&A with a fan, and he just simply tweeted back, sadly no, big announcement coming when he was asked if he'd be a part of it, so it's looking like he's not going to be a part of it here. I don't know, does that choke you up? I know it really doesn't bother me all that much. I'm not a huge fan of having the legends come by at WrestleMania. Well, let me backtrack that. I'm a fan of the legends, and if they're there to tip their cap or to help out some of the younger guys, I don't mind. I absolutely don't mind. Yes, pay respect towards the people who paved the road for you, to get you where you are. That I'm absolutely cool with that. But what I have a problem with when it comes to WrestleMania and the WWE is when you have these old guys, these, I guess, part-timers, legends, however you want to call them, when they take main event spots that should go to people who've busted their ass for that company all year. I've got a huge problem with that. Now, if you want to use them to get over somebody or work with a younger guy to kind of benefit the younger guy to kind of benefit the current product, no problem with that. Absolutely none. If you want to do a little feel-good moment, like the one where it was the WrestleMania where Chris Jericho wound up wrestling. Speaking of Chris Jericho, he wrestled Ricky Steamboat, Hacksaw Jim Duggan, and Sergeant Slaughter. That was okay. That was kind of cool. That's fine. Or if you want to have something like, old guy wrestles like the new guy, kind of like, I know this is not the best example, but like Undertaker versus Bray Wyatt, stuff like that. But what I have a huge problem with is when you have somebody like, it would be like a situation like Brock Lesnar versus The Rock. I know that didn't happen, but stuff like that where actually it happened with Rock and Cena. Where you have a part timer or legend that actually takes up a spot from a hardworking guy who's been with the company all year. Why? Because I think it sends the wrong message. I think it sends the message to the fan that, okay, here's the real superstars. These are the real stars. These are the really big guys that you should pay attention to. And you need to pay attention to these guys. But these other guys who work the other 11 months out of the year, they really don't matter. That's the message I'm afraid you're sending. And that's why I have issues with, part-timers working and legends working with WWE, especially around WrestleMania time, because they're not, breaking fucking doors down to work with them, for Payback or SummerSlam. Well, sometimes SummerSlam or Extreme Rules. You're not seeing them break down the damn door for that, but you'll see them bust down the door for WrestleMania. And yes, I understand it's a bigger payday, but still. So that's one thing here. So let me know, infantry, you little upset about this. And by the way, yes, I do have the chat feature working for some reason, so feel free to give me a holler. Let me know what you guys are thinking. Also, another update here is Nikki Bella. It's looking like she's gonna be out for the foreseeable future. Now, it's being reported online by, I think it was figure4online.com has reported that we won't know until the end of January if and when she can come back. Apparently, she's had an injury, a bulging disc in her neck, disc plural. Some speculate that it could be because of her finishing maneuver, the rack attack. Constantly using that maneuver has aggravated her neck, which I believe is why she kind of switched like this, not a burning hammer, but like a spinning forearm shot. Why she's kind of switched up finishing maneuvers. And I'm not one to wish ill on other people when it comes to stuff like that, because getting injuries, especially around spinal injuries, neck injuries, that kind of thing is extreme. That's very serious. But in a way, and maybe this makes me a bad person, I'm actually kind of relieved, because now she's got her damn record. Whatever, she didn't fucking deserve it. But you know what? She's fucking got it now. She does, and now that I know she can't really do any more damage on the Divas roster, I think it was her, in using her relationships and playing politics backstage that got her the record. Actually, no, what got her the record was to spite AJ Lee. That's the only reason she's got that record, is they needed to spite AJ Lee because they didn't want to have her in the record books as the longest reigning Divas champion. So they needed anybody. So why not get the girl with the biggest fucking fake pair of tits ever and make her the champion, have her hang on to the belt, barely defend it. Yeah, there you go. And so now I know she can't do more damage, and I don't think WWE has as much confidence, in my opinion, with Brie as they do Nikki. So I think it's going to be safe on Charlotte, or at least one of the girls who can actually fucking wrestle. And yeah, the Divas division needs all the help they can get now. And this kind of goes into a rumor, but there was rumors like for Charlotte for a Mania match. They were talking it was either going to be Charlotte versus Sasha Banks or Charlotte versus Bayley. If I come down to that and I'm booking, I want it to be Sasha. And I know that sounds shocking, and there's a selfish reason why. But no, I feel like Sasha's earned it. I think they need to give her a push. They need to build her up a little bit more. Hell, I'd say split her off from Team Bad, but because you're gonna have to turn her face, because obviously Charlotte's going the heel route. They're going. By the way, is she the daughter of Ric Flair? Because I'm not sure if they really make that clear or not on the show. But she's the daughter of Ric Flair and taking on more mannerisms of her dad, and she's doing it because fuck logic. That's why. And I think if you do that, if that's the route, you can't have two heels, so they're going to have to turn Sasha Banks' face, and I think the quickest way to do that with her would be to break her off from Team Bad and have her go on a hot streak. And I know some people are like, well, why not pull up Bayley? I think I've said this on an NXT review before, but I think it bears repeating. The reason I don't think they should pull up Bayley is, one, I don't think the NXT women's division can handle it right now. And again, that's a very greedy thing. I know what you're thinking. You could probably put it on Asuka or hell, even Emma, which is fine. But I don't think you should move her up until the women's roster on NXT is a little bit more stable. I know that Dana Brooke is coming along okay. I know she's fighting through an injury right now, which is why we haven't seen her wrestle since October. We've also but we're also seeing a lot of new girls like Billie Kay, Liv Morgan, Peyton Royce. I think once they get their ears wet a little bit, then you can have a little bit more confidence to run that. And plus, the other selfish reason is, I know if they call up Bayley, she's just going to get ruined. I mean, look what they did with three of the best girls that they had. They took Charlotte and they made her Ric Flair's daughter. They took Becky Lynch, and they had her go from the last kicker to like this goof, this, clueless goof. She's Irish and she has no fucking clue. Both of her friends have turned on her essentially, and she's still playing the loyal friend. And here's the thing, fans, we hate clueless people. We hate stupid people. We have no fucking sympathy for them. So, but you've made her look stupid. And Sasha Banks, what has she done? I mean, she was one of the most dominant NXT Women's Champions, had one of the best gimmicks, everything. She could talk, could wrestle, main evented a NXT pay-per-view. And what has she done? I mean, no, she's basically been the sidekick, to Naomi and Tamina. It makes absolutely no sense. So if they bring Bayley up, here's exactly what they're going to do. Now, they're going to bring her up with a lot of pomp and circumstance, and she'll do all right for about a month. They'll give her a win streak, and then after they give her the win streak, she's going to just start to lose a little bit, then they're going to tweak her character, and then they're just going to make her one of the girls. I mean, she's just going to be, instead of being a catty little bitch trying to seek attention all the time, she's actually going to be someone who, they're going to go back to like her old character where she's just like this naive little girl. She likes to have fun, so she's naive. She hugs people because fuck it, why not? She likes cats. She's a big fan of wrestling, and it's going to completely destroy her, and she's going to job, and it's going to be with their even Steven book, and it's going to ruin her, and she's going to want it like the rest of the girls. So I figure the longer you can keep her off the main roster, the better for her career, at least till they turn things around, because, feminism, yay. Which brings me to something here, and I know we're kind of getting, this goes into a little bit of a commentary. Here is, what do you guys think about this whole Stephanie McMahon thing going on right now? What I'm asking, particularly with Stephanie McMahon, is this whole, I think it was Tom Phillips, he slapped the shit out of him at the end of Monday Night Raw. And what I'm reading online, this kind of goes into a little bit more of the news, is this actually turned out to be a legitimate issue, that Tom Phillips was actually legitimately shaken up by this. And I can imagine that, she said, they probably had everything worked out and he probably gave the okay. I'm just guessing here. Don't take this as gospel truth here. It probably was like, okay, Tom, here's what we're going to do. Roman Reigns is going to win this match. Or no, actually, Dean Ambrose is going to win the match with assistance from Roman Reigns. She's going to act really, Stephanie's going to act really angry, and when you ask her a question about, how she feels, she's going to slap you. That's probably all they told him. She was probably, he was probably sitting there thinking, okay, wow. Instead, she fucking just goes into character and slapped the living. Dude, she just didn't fucking slap him. She pounded him. I was like, dude, I was legitimately fucking concerned for Tom Phillips. I was like, fuck, I don't think he thinks this is a fucking work. I think this is a fucking shoot. But he was legitimately shaken up. Now, here's my thought. Here's my thought on it. If WWE was in the business of being awesome, here's what I think they're doing. I think they're going to try to get rid of the Authority. And this is how they're setting the wheels in motion to disband the Authority. Because they're going to try to make it look like the McMahons have completely lost control, because you have Stephanie McMahon essentially hijacking the beginning of the show. You have her, stacking the odds against, competitors that she doesn't like. You can cite Roman Reigns, her and her husband, pulling the, basically setting it up for Roman Reigns to lose to Sheamus. That she's screaming she's screaming at the top of her lungs like a little child. She's getting, very insolent. And then now and if you go kayfabe wise, this is the second employee that she's beat the shit out of. If you want to go way back, remember Big Show? Remember when they bullied Big Show and he threatened a lawsuit after he got repeatedly slapped by Stephanie? If I'm working for this company, I'm like, first of all, why is she not in jail? Because if I work for, I work for a company, I think most of us do. Even if you don't, even if you work, hell, even if it's just McDonald's, your shift manager can't just slap the shit out of you because you do something that they don't like, or they don't like you, so they get to slap you and slap you repeatedly. No, that's fucking assault. So reality-wise, if that happens to happens to you, happens to me, we can have that person arrested, or it's definitely actions for a lawsuit. So you got to think that, okay, kayfabe-wise, okay, the board has to see this. They see that, let's see, you had Vince McMahon actively get involved with a competitor, and he got hit. You had Triple H actively get involved with a competitor. He got laid out. And you have Stephanie McMahon. She's constantly interfering in matches, interfering in affairs, and now she's assaulting employees. Now she assaulted a backstage employee, and you got to think, well, this is unacceptable, because I mean, if you're if you're a publicly traded company, you're on the board of directors, or whoever, whatever you want to call them, excuse me. You got to think, well, this is not good. I mean, this is somebody who, we're lucky we barely got out of a lawsuit last time. We've got an employee here that's not only got grounds to arrest one of our CEOs, we've also got, grounds for, arrest, a lawsuit. How is she still holding her job? I mean, reality-wise, kayfabe-wise, how is she still holding her job? I don't care if she's a McMahon. At this point, she's completely crossed the line. So I'm thinking maybe this is what they're doing, because you need to get rid of the authority. Because who in the past, since the authority has gotten together, what major heel act has come outside of the authority? Name me anyone who's been a major heel who has not been, or who's not come from the authority, been through the authority, been associated with the authority. It's all about them. And I mean, and I know what you're saying, well, Kevin Owens, but he's not like a lead heel. He's not, yeah, he's a major heel, but he's not the lead heel. He's not like this huge, competitor for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. He's not. And that's no disrespect to him. I mean, I'm just saying that's just reality. And Elon from Indoor, thank you for watching, by the way. I'm not ignoring you. He's chatting, and by the way, the chat is working. He says Steph is a bad role model for kids watching. Yeah, and let me get to that. I'm going to get to your point here. What I think they were trying to do with Stephanie McMahon is, because here's the problem with Stephanie. She can't get her comeuppance. She can't. Yes, she's a spoiled bitch, and she's gone off the damn rocker. And, if you go by the rules of professional wrestling, a bad guy can do all this stuff, but they have to get their comeuppance at some point. They have to face the consequences of their action. Well, when you look at it, everybody else has but her. Vince McMahon got comeuppance for his action. He put an obstacle in front of Roman Reigns. He got involved, but he paid the price for it. He got laid out. He got straight up just laid out for it. And Roman Reigns won the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. That was a consequence. Triple H, he constantly got involved. Remember, he got Sheamus the title. Remember now, eventually Roman Reigns snaps. He spears Triple H. Triple H gets laid out. There's a consequence for it. But Stephanie, what consequences are there for her? You cannot, not in the WWE, the PG era, be a star. Feminism is awesome. In this era, you cannot have her get her comeuppance, at least not from a male wrestler. At least, because in this PG and PC world that we live in, you cannot have a man lay his hands on a woman, at least not like that. Not like that. Not like she needs to have it, to get her comeuppance, that is. I'm not saying, he needs to, handle her the way he knows how. No, don't mean it that way. I mean it in the sense of she has to have faced the consequences for her actions. And you're thinking, well, maybe there's a woman that can do that, because woman-on-woman violence, apparently that's okay. Well, what woman do you have confidence in to lead the charge? Name me somebody not named Ronda Rousey who can legitimately lead the charge, hurt Stephanie McMahon, and still come out looking fine. I mean, nobody. I mean, do you think Becky Lynch is going to do that? No. Do you? And everybody else is Natalia, but you got Becky Lynch and Natalia, about the only two clear defined baby faces they have. Everybody else is a fucking heel. Everybody else, you turn somebody face. No, nobody's got enough credibility. Nobody's got the reason to want to go after her. She hasn't really had, for the most part, until yeah, pretty much for the most part, at least not to like the past summer Survivor Series. No, excuse me, SummerSlam, when she wrestled Nikki. I think it was Nikki or Brie. She wrestled one of the fucking Bellas. I forget. I'm sorry. I'm not thinking right now. You know, that's the last time she's ever actually crossed paths with another woman. And I was thinking, well, maybe that's what they're trying to do. They were trying to build up Stephanie McMahon is a huge, colossal bitch who never gets her comeuppance, and she needs to get it from another woman because they were trying to build up to a match with her against Ronda Rousey. You know, maybe some kind of special thing. It was like her and Stephanie and Triple H versus Rousey and The Rock, some kind of mixed tag match, but it's looking like that's not going to happen. And maybe that was the plan all along, and they held out hope as long as they could. And you know, that was, I guess, that ultimately that was the plan. But no, that's not going to happen. And maybe this is what they're doing to be, you know, to I guess to split up the authority, to have there be consequences. But as Dave Coco constantly says, WWE's not in the business of being awesome. So I have no clue where they're going with Stephanie McMahon, where they're going with this attack on Tom Phillips. And I know you're saying, well, you know, Raw's tomorrow night. Well, why don't you just watch that then and find out? Chances are they may not answer it, or they may not, give us a satisfying answer. So, so where do you see? Tell me, guys, where do you see this headed? I really want to know. Where do you see this? Where do you see this headed? All right, damn, I went on a long tirade here about Stephanie McMahon. Let's see here. Looking out for some more news. Let's see. Here's another good one. This concerns Lucha Underground. Ole. Let's see here. Get this. Hernandez is threatening legal action against Lucha Underground. Basically, he's claiming that Lucha Underground has an unsafe work environment. Now, for those of you who may need a little history lesson, chances are you don't, infantry, but for anybody new jumping on board here, and if you haven't watched Lucha Underground, you know, by the way, if you haven't watched Lucha Underground, just get, I'm telling you, I mean, go ahead and get out of this podcast, click off this link here, go find Lucha Underground and watch that entire first season. You will thank me later. It will change your life. So if you have not seen all of the first season of Lucha Underground, do yourself a favor, just cut this off right now and go watch it. But anyway, for those of you who don't know, you know, what was going on, Lucha Underground hired Hernandez, and apparently things weren't so great back there, and they started having some problems. Well, he was on there, and they finally he started popping up backstage at TNA. And TNA said, hey, I thought you were under contract with Lucha Underground. He was like, oh, yeah, I was, but it's expired. And apparently TNA took him at his word, and TNA put him in a storyline, put him with the Beatdown Clan. And then by this point, Lucha Underground had finished filming season 1. So imagine Lucha Underground surprise when they're sitting there, you know, just doing their own thing, and they're flipping through and they see TNA and they just see Hernandez, and they're like, wait a minute, that's our guy. He's still under contract with us. And so they call up TNA and they say, hey, TNA, yeah, that's our guy. Hernandez, he's still under contract with us. You can't have him on TV. And TNA goes, well, he said that he was not under contract to you guys. And Lucha Underground was like, well, apparently he lied to you, because he is. And we'd like him to not be on your television. And they're like, and TNA was, well, we've already had him in a storyline. We've been filming a lot of footage here. Can we just throw some money at you? Would that fix the problem? And Lucha Underground said, nope, cut him out. So TNA had to go hack and slash everything that he was in, to the point where wherever they had a segment where the Beatdown Clan was supposed to appear, they had to have a classic TNA match. So they eventually wrote him off. And what I thought was kind of funny is that Hernandez has no problem working with Lucha Underground, says nothing about it, but it wasn't until he lost his job with TNA, or they threatened to sue him for breach of contract. That's when all the stuff started popping up. Oh, that's a unsafe work environment. Well, nobody else has said shit. Nobody else. So just saying. And there's also questions if Conan is going to be under contract, if he's still under contract to Lucha Underground. Now, here's the thing. If Hernandez isn't, it's no big loss. In fact, and I hate to sound like an asshole, but I'm going to say it, I don't think losing Conan is going to be that huge of a loss. I'm just thinking of all the money you're going to save. Why not take that money and bring another guy up, bring another guy or two up from Mexico, or hire another U.S. or Canadian indie star? I think that could be money better spent. It's going to be pretty good. They need some more people because Rey Mysterio is going to be working with them in season 2. I mean, these guys are going to be busy. They're filming Ultima Lucha 2 on January 31st. And by the way, if anybody's seen or heard anything about Lucha Underground, we kindly ask that you do not spoil anything. Yeah, okay, here's some rules here. Do not spoil right now anything Lucha Underground or Star Wars, or I'll have to murder you. I love you, but I will have to murder you because anytime anybody starts to say anything about Star Wars or Lucha Underground, I just close my eyes, I put my fingers in my ears, and I'm like, oh, Oklahoma, where the wind goes sweeping down the plains, trying to just block out any and all noise because I want to be completely surprised. I want to go in with no expectations, open mind, ready to go. In fact, I think Lucha Underground is about to start shooting. I think they're going to start shooting that first weekend of January. I think they're going to just shoot shows every weekend. And there's also some rumors going around that they may be working a show, and I don't know if this is going to be a televised show, and by televised I mean like recorded for TV, or this is just going to be a live event. But there's talks of them doing a live event WrestleMania weekend in Texas. A lot of those guys in Lucha Underground have been asked to kind of keep that weekend open. Their dates with try to make Lucha Underground their priority for WrestleMania weekend. So they may be doing something big. And plus, I've also heard that I mean, there's a lot of stuff cooking with that promotion. They may actually film season 3 right behind it to save money, which I'm all in favor of. Just keep it coming. I mean, they filmed it from October to about August, so they had a good 10 months of material. And I hope that. And now I think one of the drawbacks to this season was it wasn't going to be as long, but the quality wasn't going to drop off. And me personally, I can live with that as long as the quality's still good and they have good matches. I don't care if it's 8 or 9 months now. Just give me good quality matches. Give me a good quality product. I'll deal with the drawbacks. That's fine. And there was even talks about doing maybe like a movie, Lucha Underground movie, which I kind of makes sense to me because believe it or not, it's not the first time something like that's been done. If you're a fan of Mystery Science Theater 3000, I think they aired it in the U.S. as Samson versus the Vampire Women. But they used to do movies all the time about starring El Santo. Mexico's most famous luchador ever. He did a lot of movies in mask and everything. It was just El Santo, being El Santo in these movies. So that's not completely unprecedented. They've also been talked about doing more of a space and an alien theme, which, all right, why not? I just hope to see more people. Hope to see more about Dario Cueto's brother. What are you guys gonna hope to see from a new season of Lucha Underground? Just give me a heads up on that one. And what do you think about Rey Mysterio officially getting called up, announcing he's working with Lucha Underground now? I think from a competitive standpoint, it's not that huge of a deal, but I think just from a name perspective, that's a big deal. I think it gives a little bit more mainstream attention to Lucha Underground. It gives a little bit, maybe some outsiders will be able to check out the temple this year, and maybe they'll see more of what they have to offer, maybe like the product overall. So that way you don't need to pull in more people like Rey Mysterio. I've really enjoyed a lot of the independent talent, seeing Matt Cross's Son of Havoc, or people coming up from Mexico and talking like, Phoenix, Pentagon Jr. I like the original characters like Prince Puma, Mil Mortez, and King Cuerno. I also like even some of the Caucasian stars they brought up. I enjoyed Angelico and Jack Evans. I've seen Jack Evans before, but never quite like this. And I want to see more and more and more where they're going. And plus, they gave other people some good chances. I mean, Evilise, she didn't do. I mean, she got fucked over hardcore with WWE. I think she was sexually harassed. Don't quote me on that. That's just that was allegedly was sexually harassed. I'm trying to watch what I say here. I'm not saying it happened. I'm just saying that I think that was something that she implied, that it was with some improper advances or improper language used around her. Also, let's see, who else did they drop the ball with? They dropped the ball. I mentioned Matt Cross, and then Katrina. She was actually Maxine in Florida Championship Wrestling, and just becomes like a totally different character. All right, and let's see here. Let's see here. Some Kurt Angle news. Sorry, this is taking so long. My computer is being slow tonight. Angle is in an interview with Wrestle Talk TV. Even though he may be 47 years old, he isn't retiring. He's going to wrestle after his TNA deal is up. I kind of wish he wouldn't. I kind of wish Angle would hang up the boots for good, because I've just got a feeling that Angle's going to wind up fucking paralyzed if he keeps going the speed he's going. That's one of my fears. He became one of the greatest the industry's ever seen. I mean, he went from a Olympic wrestler to, just a really good, reliable guy to like he lived life in fucking fourth gear. He did more, I think, in his WWE run than most people did their entire, most people would do in a career 2 or 3 times that length. In TNA, he never slowed down. Now, if he goes back to WWE, which I doubt, I don't think WWE would take, at least not in a wrestling role. Why? Because I don't think he would pass a WWE physical. Hulk Hogan couldn't pass a fucking WWE physical. Ric Flair couldn't pass a WWE physical. There's no way in hell Kurt Angle's passing that physical. And it's just and plus with all his history of neck problems, I'm just worried he's going to wind up hurt and he's going to wind up paralyzed. That's just my biggest fear. But, guys, what do you think? Let's see here. Let's get some more comments. This is from Ewok from Indoor, and this is, of course, going back to when I opened up the show here. He was saying that Nikki Bella's pregnant. I don't think she's pregnant. I think if she was pregnant, they would not say, "Oh, she's having neck issues." Pregnancy is not like a really like a dirty thing. This isn't. It's 2015. You're not going to lose your job because you're pregnant. And plus, this isn't like the 1950s, man. You're not going to be like an outcast or whatever if you're an unmarried pregnant woman. Even though if she was, I'd be like, Cena, you need to man up. You need to handle business, son. You need to handle business. But I don't think she is. I think if she was, they would just say she was, and it's really not that big of a taboo thing anymore. So no, I think it's what they say it is. I think it's actually I think it's a neck issue. And I think that's why she's taking the time, because they just want to have use an abundance of caution. Let's see here. Anything else going on? I know one thing I need to do is shamelessly self-promote that Dave, LK, and myself, we're all putting heads together right now as we speak. We are trying to come up with a date and time for our year-end awards. That's right. It's time for the Triforce Awards. I've got one. Dave's got one, and LK's got the last. We're gonna we got all our categories here, and we're gonna vote on little things as such as Wrestler of the Year, comeback of the Year, Tag Team of the Year, Best Match of the Year, worst match of the year. We're going to vote on kind of tons of things. If you want to check out what the awards are, you can actually go to my blog. It's over on prowrestling.me. Just click on blogs, you'll see it. I've got all the categories, and I kind of define what these categories are. And then in a separate blog, I've kind of got some of the notable things about this year and who I think's in the running for said categories. And I do want to say that I've kind of talked about some of these categories with both LK and Dave, And we, to be honest, there's some that I think we kind of got our minds made up on, but there's some that we're kind of leaning towards. But there's more, and you'd be surprised. You would honestly be surprised about how many of these categories we still don't know. I mean, we're about to, in the next few days, maybe a few hours even, are going to go live with this and start giving out our Triforce Awards. And we still, right now, we're on the fence about so many of these categories and who the recipient should be. And this is where you come in, look it over and say, hey, yeah, I totally agree with that. You should totally vote for that person to win that award. Or, no, I disagree. I think this person deserves it, and here's why. Or you didn't even mention this guy. You need to, here's why this person should be considered, because that could affect our vote. It really could affect our vote. So, this is one award show where you definitely need to participate. And I want to give, we got a real quick shout out to Whitelist Bro. He says hey to me, so hello to you, sir. And then Ewok from Indoor saying, no, Cena is pregnant. Well, he is a giant walking vagina, so yeah, I could probably picture that. Ewok from Indoor says bring back Stone Cold. He's not going to wrestle again, but I have no problem bringing him back. I think they might bring him back. Usually if they need to bring back somebody from the Attitude Era, Stone Cold's a go-to guy. They have a pretty good working relationship with Stone Cold Steve Austin. I think Rock is going to be out shooting movies. I know he's kind of taken a step back from WWE since his match with John Cena and he got hurt. I know they've been wanting him to stay out of the ring, and I think the last one he was at was WrestleMania 30. At the Superdome, brother, or Silver Dome, as Hulk Hogan called it, in the middle of the match, or in the middle of the introductions. So yeah, I can picture Stone Cold coming back with that. But as far as in ring, I don't think he'll ever do in ring, because remember, he's still got those neck issues. I mean, he took that pile driver from Owen Hart, and that just led to a lot of problems. It really shortened his career. In fact, that's the reason why they banned the pile driver in WWE, was specifically because of that incident. And his neck is still, foobarred because of that. Brandon Matthews says, hey, so hello to Brandon Matthews. So, hey, keep your questions coming, guys. I don't mind answering questions. I'm just kind of killing time, having some fun. So everybody just, hey, let's have some fun here. Let's see, coming up, tomorrow night, we're also going to have our review of Monday Night Raw. Reportedly, dirt sheets are reporting that Vince McMahon will be back tomorrow night. So, hey, who knows? I don't know what's going to happen. I honestly don't know what's going to happen with it. I know last time he was there, they had higher numbers. I know that typically speaking, historically speaking, when Vince McMahon appears on a Monday Night Raw, the ratings tend to go up a little bit. I don't know why that is, but it's happening. And it was kind of funny because to me, when he showed up at Monday Night Raw a couple of weeks ago, I could just picture Vince McMahon go, you can't get Reigns over. God damn it. I'll get the motherfucker over myself. Stay right here. And he went out there, did his whole thing, and got him cheered in Philadelphia. And people are like, oh, yeah, it was a great Raw. Yeah, Roman Reigns. Yeah, he's the champion now. And I'm like, pump your fucking brakes. What do you mean? I was like, wait a minute. You booed this guy all year. And just because Vince McMahon goes out there and tells him to get out of his ring, you're going to start cheering him. I'm like, there was a lot more Roman Reigns than what there normally were people admitting. I'm just saying, I'm not saying people are hypocrites. I'm just thinking it really loudly. And plus, yeah, they did get a boost in viewership, but they were at an all-time low. You'd have to go back to, I think, September of 1997, back to that's a time. I'm not saying I'm old, but I was in high school back in September of 97. You'd have to go back to when Boom Boom was in fucking high school to find a lower rating. But the ratings went up. Oh, the ratings went up. Yeah, WWE's going to turn things around. They got the belt on Roman Reigns. They finally pulled the trigger. Well, first of all, you got to set the bar a little bit higher when you say, oh yeah, he really boosted the ratings. Yeah. Yeah, you used to have 10 million people watch your product. Now you only have 3 million people watch your product. Yeah, that's a huge turnaround. And then, yeah, okay, yeah, you get Roman Reigns over, but let's see, it took you virtually an entire calendar year to do it. You had to have a lot of people out with injuries. You had to have John Cena out for various reasons. You had to have Randy Orton out with injuries, Cesaro out with injuries, and well, just other people out with injuries. You had to sacrifice every other fucking heel, and you reduced your champion to delivering long stilted promos using the trying to pop the catchphrase tater tots. Yeah, you did a great job. And then you know what happened the very next week? Went right back into crapper. I'm not going to lie. I watched a little bit last week. When I say a little bit, I mean like I was watching the show and I fell asleep. Like I don't know how long I was out. It was like right around the second hour, I eventually fell asleep. I think it was after the New Day match. It was after New Day wrapped up. They were doing something, and I don't remember. I fell asleep. I woke back up going, oh shit, Raw's still on. Finished it up, and then it's like, you know what? I don't have the strength to keep going, and went to bed. So it just kind of went back to business as usual. And besides, one good show does not turn around the mistakes of this entire year. All right. So, okay, we got some questions here coming in. So I'm going to try to make a point to answer each and every one of them. So let's get them going. Let's see. Brendan Matthews, WWE can't help themselves by bringing back Cena so soon. Yeah, I guess his obligations was up. His obligations were up with this military-themed game show. I'm interested to see how that plays out because I want it to be successful. I'm going to basically give John Cena how I give the Dave Batista. I'm going to give him the Dave Batista treatment. Whereas that's where everything he does outside of wrestling, I'm going to support because I want him to be successful at it because I want him to get out of wrestling. I want him to leave WWE, leave the WWE ring. If he wants to come back every now and then, tip his cap, say, you can't see me, do a few more Make-A-Wish visits, that's absolutely fine by me. It's like Batista. Batista, I'll support him in movies. I'll support him on television. I'll support his books, whatever, just as long as he never gets in that fucking wrestling ring ever again because he's a god-awful wrestler. Same thing with John Cena. You know what? I'll support your game shows. I'll go I'll go rent Trainwreck. I will fucking go rent Trainwreck tonight and just watch it in hopes that people go, wow, this guy's got some star power. We need to get him in more movies and he'll have less time to wrestle. I will do that. I will totally fucking do that just to get him out of a WWE ring. But yeah, and they brought him back at a house show this past week. I think he wrestled like a no DQ. I think he had a DQ against Alberto Del Rio, the wrestler formerly known as Alberto Del Rio, the man who used to care, he used to wrestle, but he's a sellout bitch. And I stand by those statements. Ewok for Indoor says, I'd like to see Orton butt slammers back. Wow, inside joke that only 6 people are probably going to get. Let me explain. This one time, me and Dave were this is usually how a lot of our stories start out. Dave and I were fucking around when we got this brilliant idea that we were going to be positive fans, because we were getting criticized for being too negative, and this is before WWE got it was bad, not as bad as this, but it was still bad. And the whole idea was that we were going to just be these positive fans that everybody was talking about, that we were going to be these positive fans that believed WWE was awesome, they could do no wrong. Just everything they did was genius. So we turned on Google Effects and we put on fake mustaches. I think I had a monocle on. Just turn on Google Effects and we just praised everything WWE did was awesome. So Dave decided he was going to be Superfan 99, and he made up a name for me. He called it Orton Butt Slammers. And normal people would be like, I'm not being called that, but I was like, you know what, fuck it, I'll roll with it. I'll new day the fuck out of this. I will take this crap and I will mold it, make it my own, own it, make it entertaining. So, and that's something Dave and I have talked about, and I even told LK about this the other day, about the positive fans. So that's what people were talking about, and what, when I was calling him Superfan 99, what I meant by that. And he's like, "Oh man, I got to get in on this," or however he talks. But I got to get in on this. So we may have to create a new name. So hey, I'll take some suggestions for LK's name if you wanted to be part of like the super best pals, the positive fans. Let's see. Brandon Matthews. Doomsday, if it becomes Cena versus Reigns. What are they going to do? I assume you're going to be talking about Mania. I've heard so many different rumors. I know right now they're probably building up to Reigns, Triple H, and I think that either needs to happen. It's probably going to happen at the Rumble, because I think they've got it set up that way. I can't see him waiting any longer than Fastlane to do that. But what I get, the only thing I guess I kind of like about that is it kind of leaves the Rumble wide open, because I hope WWE's learned their lesson, because they fucked up the Rumble the last 2 years in a row. And I don't think they want to go for the trifecta, because they did it both times. They had Batista win it in 2014. They had Reigns win it in 2015. And both times the fans revolted. Both times they had to rewrite the main event of WrestleMania. They had to have somebody else walk out with a belt than what they promoted. And it's just been a disaster the past couple of years. So I'm hoping maybe they've learned their lesson and they just leave it wide open. As far as, I guess I could see him going back to the same old, have, see Cena versus Reigns at Mania. And this is this is the Doomsday scenario here that you were talking about, is I can see Reigns retaining the title against Cena to completely solidify him as the next big star. But I figured if you're going to have Reigns retain anyway, why not break out a new heel? Why not bring out, turn somebody heel, or, take somebody from that lower level up to the next level to be a serious contender? That's what I would like to see. I know everybody's screaming at the screen right now. Kevin Owens, motherfucker, Kevin Owens, fucking goddamn Kevin Owens. Which I would be inclined to agree with you, but I've also heard rumors that they're talking about Kevin Owens versus Brock Lesnar. And to be honest, I'm more interested in seeing that. I would be more interested in seeing Kevin Owens versus Brock Lesnar at Mania than I would seeing Roman Reigns versus Kevin Owens. Because I just don't, because I know if they do that, they're going to have Kevin Owens' job, but I don't want to see him job. I want there to be some kind of intrigue. And another rumor I heard regarding John Cena is they finally threw it out there, Cena versus Taker. And I think if that's the case, I think this is Taker's last ride. I think the Dallas is where he hangs it up, because, it's his home state of Texas. And unless they announce that they're going to Houston in 2017, I think this is it for Taker. I really do. Derek Slater. Boom. Recently they had this video on the WWE YouTube channel, and they talked about how he's never held the Intercontinental Championship, and afterwards said you could hear Ambrose clutches. Well, I know last year that they talked about trying to elevate the U.S. and Intercontinental titles, because at that point they had the WWE World Heavyweight Championship on Brock Lesnar, and Brock Lesnar was only defended that once every fucking 6 months. Maybe that's an exaggeration, but not far from it. They did a pretty good, and I'm going to give John Cena credit. John Cena did a pretty good job of making at least the United States Championship interesting. He at least had the U.S. Championship Open Challenge, and that made Raw interesting. They had to produce some good matches. It led to the debut of Kevin Owens. It had that amazing match of the year candidate versus Cesaro on Raw. You saw a lot of good stuff on there. You got to see some people kind of rise to the top. Intercontinental title, it hasn't done much for. Yeah, you had it on Ryback. I know it's kind of went back and forth here, and Now it's on Ambrose. But yeah, yeah. Let's see. Yeah, but ooh, that's a good question. Would I rather? Ooh, could I see John Cena winning the Intercontinental Championship? Just nah, because I just don't think it would make any sense. I mean, kayfabe wise, he would want to go back after the United States Championship. I think they're saving his. Because face it, he's going to get his 16th championship. It's going to happen. It's it's like it's basically like having sex with Kobe Bryant. It's happening whether you like it or not. So you just best close your eyes and grit your teeth and just accept that it's going to happen. So was that too far? Nah. Anyway, no, but I think they're going to save that for a special occasion. And so before they pull the trigger on that, I don't think they would have him chase the Intercontinental. But then again, maybe and if John Cena was really petty, maybe I could see him go, hey, this list said some things I haven't done. The Intercontinental Championship is one of them. I can't have that shit happen. I don't know if he's that damn petty. Jacob Cass now joined us. He says, did you watch the Lucha Underground Season 2 trailer? Yes, I did. I really did enjoy it. I'm interested to see who Marty the Moth's sister is. I want to see more from Sexy Star. I want to see the race to get the belt off Mil Mortez, because he's going to be the target here. You got the trio of Son of Havoc, Ivelisse, and Angelico. They want their trios title back. I want to see when will Phoenix pull the trigger with his Gift of the Gods title. Will he be successful? And if so, then you scatter the medallions again, and you have another tournament for that championship. That's, by the way, I call that the Dragon Ball title. It's amazing. And yeah, they included Rey Mysterio in there. Of course, Prince Puma. I'm interested to see how he does without Conan. I mean, he did a good job by himself. I mean, I don't think people really give Prince Puma, Ricochet, that much credit, but he deserves a lot of credit. He got a character over, was basically the guy carrying the company. I mean, he stepped up when they needed him most. He was supposed to, just not be. I mean, he was supposed to be a big character, a big major character. He was an original character that they had, and but they had to move things around a little bit more because remember they had visa issues with some of the AAA talent, so that delayed them getting there. So they had to throw out the show, rewrite it, and have him come in there and do more than what they initially wanted him to do. Well, sooner than what they wanted him to do it, and he wanted to be the champion, and he never said one word, never said a word. And he was still loved by the fans. I mean, that's talent. So I think Prince Puma deserves a lot of credit. Derek Slater, he got a prediction here. He says Daniel Bryan comes back, wins the Royal Rumble, and beats Reigns in the main event. We can only hope, but it's not going to happen. I don't think WWE is going to let him wrestle, even though I believe I think he's been cleared by 2 doctors. I know he was talking about having to go see a third to get cleared again. So maybe they'll let him wrestle. But it would be nice, but I don't think WWE is going to let him, at least not right now. With the risk of, with them being a publicly traded PG company that talks about, concussions and, and particularly him with his history and neck injuries, I don't think they're going to let him wrestle. I think they've offered him job on commentary, job training other, the NXT guys. I just don't think WWE's got the guts to let him wrestle. And that's not a slight against them. I'm just saying unfortunately, it's just reality. It's what we're going to have to deal with. Is WWE is so scared of getting sued, and honestly scared of him getting permanently injured, that I don't think they're ready to take that chance. Because I mean, can you imagine he goes out there, gets hurt? Can you imagine what people would say? It's like, well, you had a history of neck injuries. You knew he had a problem with this stuff, and you still sent him out there. You still let him do remember what he did at Mania? He did that spot through the ladder. You're going to let him do that again? I know. Let's see. Two True for Life 1, he says, should Harlem Heat be inducted into the Hall of Fame? Harlem Heat, not necessarily. Booker T, definitely. I just Harlem Heat. I mean, no disrespect to Stevie Ray, but Booker T was just the man. He was a great world heavyweight. Well, he was a good world heavyweight champion. I think he got screwed over during his run in WWE. I don't think he really recovered from the invasion angle. He did some great work at, well, they're not going to mention TNA, but he did some great work there too. Kev K. Esco, he says, is this real? The live chat is actually a thing on YouTube now? Yes, sir. Yes, it is. His second, let's see, live chat, ignore my Christmas tree. No, I'm not reading that. Let's just say Ewok's Christmas wish didn't come true. It's always next year, sir. Always next year. I know what it's like. You never get what you want, but we always get what we deserve. And by the way, Kev KS Coco makes a good point because I don't think they should, but Stevie Ray never came over to WWE, I believe. And I don't think that really matters. I mean, they had a lot of guys that never wrestled for WWE that are in there. So I think the whole fact that he wasn't in WWE is not that huge of a deal. But no, if you're going to go with, you know, the only way I could see that happening is if it's kind of like a situation where it's like the Macho Man, you know, like, well, you can't induct me without, you can't induct him without inducting the entire Poffo family. I doubt Booker T would do it. But only way I see that is like, well, you have to induct my brother and my wife too. You know, I can see that. Wrestling World News, and for some reason, I believe Wrestling World News, I think you started following me on Twitter for some reason. I have no idea why, because I don't really ever tweet. I just use my Twitter to follow people and just check out some small things. But I think he follows me anyway, so well, thank you, I think. He asked me, who do you think will win the Royal Rumble? Ugh. I honestly don't know, and maybe that's a good thing. But who do I want to win? I'd like to see. I know he's probably, I don't know. He might be healthy by that time, but I'd like to see Cesaro win it. Cesaro versus Reigns. I think that would be a good match. I know, crazy, or maybe even Ambrose or Cesaro. I'd like to see either one of those guys win, because I think you could just make. I think that'd just be a great. I think that'd be a great match. And I think even if they lost to Reigns, it would still elevate them, but it wouldn't absolutely just kill them dead if and when they lost. Ewart from Indoors pulling for either Ziggler or Orton. I don't know if Orton's going to be cleared or not by that time. Ziggler, to me, his credibility's dead at this point. Ziggler's got no credibility. Like, if you wanted to get Ziggler's credibility back, his heat back, however you want to say it, I think you've got to, like, take him off TV, cool him off, bring him back, have him turn heel, and have him get like a big streak of wins. That's the only way I could see him getting his career saved at this point. Kev Esco says, "Sorry, brother, but but the year is still going." Oh, okay. Booms, who were the people inducted that wasn't ever in WWE? Well, let me just pull up the WWE Hall of Fame. Let's see. Google is your best friend. WWE Hall of Fame. All right. No. Let's see. All right. See, I'm not sure if Abdullah the Butcher was ever in WWE. Let's see. That would be Cowboy. I don't know. Was Cowboy Bill Watts? I don't think Bullet Bob ever was. And I'm not counting celebrities because that just doesn't count. No. Nope. Carlos Colon, I don't think he ever was. Superstar Eddie Graham, I think his son may have been, but I don't think he was. Let's see. going here. I'm just going down the line, going down the line. Don't know. I don't think Larry Zbyszko was. I don't remember Larry Zbyszko wrestling for WWE. Mad Dog, I don't know if Mad Dog ever wrestled for WWE. I know he was huge in the AWA. Mil Mascares, I don't think he ever was. I know he did some appearances in WCW. Nick Botwinkle, I don't know if Nick Botwinkle did. I'm just going down the line here. I think the original Sheik, I don't think the original Sheik ever was. Now, Stu Hart, I know he made some appearances, but I don't know if he actually flat out wrestled for him. Not all the Von Erichs did. I know Kerry Von Erich did, but I don't think some of the Von Erich family, I'm not even counting the ones who committed suicide, and that's not a shot. I'm just saying, straight up wrestled. Yeah, there you go. But those are just some of the ones. I just went down the list here. Let's see. A lot of people running. What about Rusev for the Rumble? Nah, I don't think he is. Yeah, Carlito's father, Carlos Colon. Yeah, he's in the Hall of Fame. I think he went in this past year or two ago. Went in. He was like the Hulk Hogan of Puerto Rico. Huge guy, huge. Huge. I mean, he's huge on that island. And you don't think he's in there too, but all right. Wow, I didn't actually just thought I'd get a couple of questions here and there and wrap this bad boy up, but no, you guys have kept the questions coming, so this will go about as long as you guys keep coming up with questions. I'm gonna do one last check here for some news, and then I'm about to wrap it up here and call it a night. Again, I want to promote ProWrestling.me. If you haven't signed up, please go ahead and do so. It's it's absolutely positively 100% free. Dude, every time I do that, I keep thinking of like John Belushi's character from Animal House. At the beginning of the movie, he's drinking. It's like, grab a beer, don't cost nothing. So there you go. That's what I feel like doing. Sign up for ProWrestling.me. Don't cost nothing. No, that way you can check out the news. LK's got his own special VIP section, which costs you 50 pence a month, which when you do the math is about roughly 75 cents American per month. And he has just daily, just gives you all kinds of podcasts, you can get. Also check out our blogs here. We've got, because we're going to try to do the Triforce Awards. And right now I've got the nominees for the year-end awards, and then I've got just a list of the categories that we're going to be voting on, and the front runners, at least people I'm thinking about for that. And we try to look for some input on there. You can find on the blog section of ProWrestling.me, because you can actually sway our votes. So that's why I'm telling people to check it out. All right, let's see here. Let's see. Kev K. Esco for Royal Rumble wins. I tell you what, guys, I'm going to do last call for questions. So while I'm reading these next few ones here, go ahead and get any last questions you may have in. Then I'm about to wrap this bad boy up. So we're about to wrap up this Q&A session. So Kev K. Esco for Royal Rumble wins. It may go like this. Actual winners, Cena. Possible winners, Owens, Ambrose, or Cesaro. Out of the box winners, this would be some Kofi or Bray, or hell, Triple H might just win the thing. I thought about that too, about Triple H. I was like, I hope they pull the trigger on Triple H versus Roman Reigns before Mania, because if not, that means H is winning the Rumble, and that's going to screw a lot of things and screw a lot of people over if you have him win that, because then he has to go all the way through. Oof. Maybe that's why they're going to get the authority out of power, possibly, is they have Stephanie McMahon slap the shit out of Tom Phillips. This leads to the authority losing power. They want the belt off Roman Reigns. So Triple H blames Roman Reigns for getting him and his wife fired, out of power. So he enters the Royal Rumble so that way he can win it and get his revenge at WrestleMania. He's the veteran, so he goes through everybody and he talks, that he starts cutting all his heel promos. He becomes like a somewhat semi-active competitor again, trying to, it's all going towards this WrestleMania main event where he's going to get his revenge. He's going to say, I'm going to show you how to do it. If you want something done right, you got to do it yourself, and go in and challenge. And, I'm going to beat Reigns for the championship at Mania. Then Reigns goes over and, suddenly he's solidified as the next legend. He's the heir to the throne. We can pump the brakes on John Cena, not have to have him carry the championship, every 3 months just to, pop ratings again. God, that's a nightmare scenario. But yeah, I can actually picture WWE doing something that crazy. Let's see. Trill for Life 1 says, I asked because they are about to start announcing the Hall of Fame the Hall of Fame nominees. I think Taker definitely I think Taker goes in this year, and I think the Freebirds go in this year. That's basically going to be my Stone Cold lock of the century of the week. Taker and the Freebirds. They're in Texas. Those two have to go in. I don't know who else they would put in, though. They would probably, I think they've already got Luthez in. I'm trying to think of what Texas, now they would have Action Jackson in. I'm thinking just what Texas got. I'm just trying to come off the top of my head, maybe Stan Hansen, somebody like that. And as far as the deceased character, only deceased one that I really want to see, and I know everybody's screaming Owen Hart right now. I know they did that DVD, but I think you got to have the family would have to agree to that, or at least show up. Otherwise, it's going to be extremely fucking awkward. And you're looking at maybe potential legal battles here. So I don't think realistically Owen Hart will go in because, Martha Hart, she's still a little fucking pissed that WWE killed her fucking husband. Now, as far as deceased, anyone deceased going in, I could maybe see Rick Rude. Because you can't have everybody deceased, all these deceased people coming, because it's going to be a huge fucking downer. So, but yeah, I could see, I could see Undertaker, Freebirds, and as far as the deceased, you always got to have about one, posthumous induction. I could see that possibly being Rick Rude, but that's just me. All right, I think that's going to do it. So. Again, for the last time, I want to promote ProWrestling.me. It's not a .com, it's .me. It's our Facebook page for pro wrestling fans. We've done a soft launch. We're trying to build up a community before we do a hard launch in 2016. We need you guys. We need the internet infantry, because when we start asking outsiders to come in and sign up, we want to make sure there's a good community for them to come to, and we keep the thing growing, keep it blossoming, so that way it'll flourish, and we need your help for that. So sign up for it. You can post things there. You can tell us what you're thinking. You can write a blog, and they're all uncensored. You can post your videos, your photos. You can check out news and results. LK is a stickler about ratings, so if you want to see what WWE ratings are, that's the place to go for it. It's all absolutely positively 100% free, and then you can always check us out at KocoSports.com. That's KocoSports.com. It's your home for all combat sports. That includes boxing, mixed martial arts, pro wrestling, amateur wrestling, sumo wrestling, taekwondo, kickboxing, judo. If you can get your nose broke doing it, we got it covered there on the site. Also, be sure to check out our news and gossip section, updated daily, along with our very popular video on demand section. It's KocoSports.com. It's where the world goes to kick ass. All right. We got a Monday Night Raw review coming up tomorrow night. I believe Dave and LK are going to be on that. Maybe we'll have Wrestling Rant, maybe we won't. I don't know. It depends on what schedules are. I'm hoping to be able to jump aboard that. After that, I think within the next 48 to 72 hours, I'm hoping to have our year-end awards, so be sure to stay tuned for that. And like I said, if you'll check out my blog on ProWrestling.me, you can see the list of categories we have and kind of who I think the front runners should be for that. go in there and comment on who you think should win, and maybe try to sway our votes, because trust me, there's a lot of these categories where me, Dave, and LK are on the fence about. And, you guys could sway our vote and make all the difference. So be sure to check it out. All right. Wow. That's one hell of a show. So that's going to do it for me. So this is Boom Boom. And for my partner, Dave Coco and LK, I am over. Boop, 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 boop.